very much in favor of the counting of points.
Does it work for you? No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Run Through, your favorite figure skating podcast, where we talk about all the things that make us kiss and make us cry. I would like to welcome you to part 4 of the men's lore. Now, I am introducing everyone to this website.
What? And this is why we have taken Adam off of the men's lore.
It's burned a hole in my brain, and it's like dripping out of my ears after just reading so many things about God love him, Patrick Chan.
Oh, Chanflation is alive and well and currently in your brain.
It is. And I am so grateful because Sarah Hughes, still not an Olympic champion, but is a 4-time Emmy winner.
Adam, wait.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yes.
This podcast now has 2 Emmy winners on it.
That's true.
That is true.
Oh my God. Congratulations, Adam Rippon, on your very own Emmy. I have always been less than compared to the two of you, but now I am securely in 3rd place because this is a competition.
No, that's not true. And I have full faith that you will also be an Emmy winner come the end of next year. I have full faith. But since you said it, it's true. I'm an Emmy winner, and it's incredible. For the view up here is amazing. I can't even believe it.
I texted Adam that we won an Emmy tonight when this happened. And because he and I were in one of the awards that we won. He was in the same category as me. And he did not process that I meant that he won.
So a shared
for a while.
Yeah.
Emmy?
Yeah, well, I thought when Sarah said we won, I thought, it's like, oh my God, how nice. Like, we're so close that her wins
the podcast.
are...
The podcast
we won.
I called Adam when I found out and he picked up. And I immediately was like, are you crying? Because his eyes looked misty. And he goes, God, no, I'm in an airport.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. Oh, because I was like talking quietly and like I had, allergies.
Right. You just looked misty and you were soft spoken. And I thought you were just taking it all in.
I was. And I'm taking it in stride. And welcome to this website, as I said in the beginning of this episode.
I'm waiting for my congratulatory phone call from Ashley. Maybe that will come later.
Maybe
today.
Emmy number 5.
Congrats, Sarah Hughes, on yet another
Not
Emmy.
needed. Not needed. No, I'm going to get enough satisfaction out of taking you through the men's lore.
That's the congratulatory call. Is you telling us what the hell do we need to know about the men that we haven't already learned in 6 hours of podcasting?
I'm excited about this chunk because it's going to feel like a chunk of time that has a lot of Shoma Uno in it, which feels really good to me.
Yes.
A lot of Yuzuru Hanyu, a lot of Nathan Chen. And then we're going to sprinkle in some fresh faces towards the end. I think it's going to be great.
I think it'll be great too. I'm wondering if Ashley's going to learn anything in this episode.
I absolutely
Probably.
am. I 1,000% will not know everything.
Okay.
Shall we begin?
Adam, do you remember exactly where you left off? Was it the 2018 Olympics or did you go to Worlds? I feel like maybe we did Olympics and then we're done.
I don't feel like we did Worlds.
I am almost certain we didn't do Worlds because Worlds is a changing of the tide moment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So after the Olympics, the Olympic bronze medalist Javier Fernandez is gone. Patrick Chen is gone. We talked about this at the end of the episode, that there were a lot of the older, more experienced skaters who walk away after Pyeongchang.
Mm-hmm.
When the World Championships happen a month later, post-Olympic Worlds is always kind of a weird one, but Nathan Chen wins his first world title. He kind of, you can't really call it redemption from the Olympics because nothing can redeem the Olympics other than the Olympics themselves, but he does finish the season on a high note. Shoma Uno is second again, just like he was at the Olympics. And Mikhail Kolyada, the Russian skater who we mentioned in the last episode, is third. I'm not really going to spend much time on this World Championships. There's some weird results, some random people that kind of sneak in because of the nature of a post-Olympic Worlds. Adam does not go to the World Championships. Max Aaron goes and gets 11th place.
Congrats, Max.
The end. That's the end of the 2018 season.
Okay.
Adam, what were you doing at the time? Was that Dancing with the Stars?
I was doing like a press tour in New York. And
Okay.
I remember when I told Raphael, I was like, I'm not going to Worlds. And he was like, what are you, why not? And I went, I can't. Stephen Colbert is waiting. And I can't do another program.
Meanwhile, he's like, can you take Ashley with you? She's haunting the ring and she's crying every day.
Okay. Happy memories for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of, as Ashley said, Yuzuru Hanyu in this lore. And one thing I'm going to say about Yuzuru Hanyu is that very few people are as into their own lore as Yuzuru Hanyu. And he makes a lot of comments, and like there are a lot of quotes that I came across that I forgot about throughout the coming Beijing Olympic quad, where he says things that are like, oh, he's like very into his own legend.
Ugh, I can't wait to be reminded because
Like he will say something to the effect of like, I wanted to do a program that only Yuzuru Hanyu could do. Things like that.
in
Wait,
the third
as in
person?
talking about himself in third person?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I'm saying that because that sort of attitude of like, he is like transcending himself as like a person throughout this whole quad. And I feel like I wanted to say that off the top because it sort of permeates through everything that he tries to do and says he's doing. And like, you'll see. So we go to the fall of 2018 and Hanyu is still skating. He has now cemented himself, like we said before, as one of the greatest skaters of all time. He's won 2 straight Olympics. And is, obviously uniquely talented on the ice. He goes to an Olympic parade in 2018, and 110,000 people go to this parade in his hometown. So he's solidified his status within skating. He's also becoming more and more famous by the day, especially in Japan.
So 100,000 plus people show up to this parade?
Yes, in his hometown in Sendai.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Okay, maybe he really can do a program that only Yuzuru Hanyu can do. Maybe it's
I
making
think that
sense.
he can. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is, you said it in the last episode, he transcends sport. He's doing that throughout this whole quad, which will prove to be his last. But he's still skating in 2018. He skates to 2 programs that are inspired by 2 of his favorite skaters who we have talked about at length in the lore, Johnny Weir and Yevgeny Plushenko. He debuts a quad toe triple axel combination. This becomes sort of a theme of like Hanyu feels like he's achieved, basically everything he can achieve title wise. So he starts trying to push himself on the jumps more specifically. He hurts himself trying to do that, and he misses the Grand Prix final this season, and Nathan Chen's reign begins, essentially.
Okay.
So let's talk about Nathan Chen, because I don't think we did a lot of Nathan Chen like backstory lore last time. We did a little of like the pressure was big going into the Olympics. He chokes. It goes very poorly. I know that's like a mean word to say, but I'm just going to be straight to the point. That's what happened. So Nathan is the youngest of 5 children, son of Chinese immigrants. He grows up in Salt Lake City, and he starts skating on a rink that was built as part of the preparation for the Salt Lake City Olympics in 2002. He has a background in ballet. He's a pianist. He can play guitar. His mom follows him everywhere, for better or worse. She's everywhere that he is all the time. He's a high achieving student. He kind of has it all, and is like the nicest boy in this period of time. But he is like
the nicest man boy.
He's very, very, he's like kind, respectful to everybody. You guys trained with him, so you know that. But Nathan is like a very nice person.
But when
Very
you're the
much.
5th of 5 children,
He is.
you've been beaten down to be kind. And I can say that as someone who did the beating
Who
down.
did the beating.
Yes, as the
Sure.
oldest of 6. So I understand.
But Nathan, like, what I mean is as like a person, he, especially in the media, like, you know, obviously people have their private lives and whatever, but in the media, Nathan has this high profile rivalry that plays out with Yuzuru Hanyu. He also has a relatively high profile domestic rivalry that starts to play out with Vincent Zhou, who we'll talk about. He's never willing to take the bait talking about either of them or talking badly about anyone ever. He's very humble. He doesn't even do a good job really talking about himself doing well. He just is like very humble. Anyway.
And often sings his competitors high praise.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And so Nathan is sort of, he starts to be called the quad king. He does 4 quads in one program in 2016. He's the first to land 5 quads in a single program in 2017. In 2018, he does 6 in a single program. He masters all 5 of the backward takeoff quads. He's the first one to ever do this. So he can do every quad except the axle. And he's the first one who can do all of these. He has great balletic posture on the ice and also has sort of this like boyish, I don't know how to describe it. I wrote down that he only skates in long sleeve t-shirts, which I feel like
that
kind of
sums up exactly what you need to know.
That's kind of what I want people to know. He skates in long sleeve t-shirts, so you can always see his stomach on a camel spin.
Always.
And that is who Nathan Chen is. In the 2018-19 season, he comes off his Olympic disappointment and goes to Yale. So he is a freshman.
As we all do with our disappointments.
Yeah. I channeled my heartbreak into an Ivy League as well.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
among us
Has
not
Hasn't.
done this once or twice?
Right.
Sure.
So he goes to Yale, and he gets a program from Marie-France Dubré and Sam Chouinard in Montreal, which begins sort of a fruitful choreography relationship with them. And he trains all year or most of the year in New Haven on his own, sending videos back to California to Raphael Artunian, his coach. So it's a little bit of an unknown, like, we don't have a lot of examples of skaters who have tried to do this, especially not at like the world champion, potential Olympic champion level.
Yeah.
Nathan goes undefeated the entire season. So he does fine with the balance.
Maybe I should have tried Yale.
I think, you know, we all could have tried
Yale.
I don't know
I mean,
that
you can try.
all of us would have succeeded at Yale.
Maybe I should have
Yeah.
tried quads. Maybe that would have helped.
I mean, you did try,
You did try
quads.
Yeah. In the same way I tried Yale, though. So
Yeah.
a little short.
Did Hetty go with him to Yale? Or was he truly on his own? I forget.
I think he lived on campus, right? So he was not
with his mom.
He wasn't like with her 24/7, but I believe she was with him in the vicinity, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Mm-hmm. Or at least coming in to like help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hetty being his mom, by the way. We didn't introduce her that way. So that's who Ashley is referring to.
Yes.
Even like when we were in California, as Sarah mentioned, his mom was like heavily involved in like helping to plan out the training. She'd be meeting with Raphael constantly about like, this is, you know, where we are, what we think we should be doing, like heavily involved. I even remember
like, almost in a manager type
completely
of a position, but not in any official capacity.
No.
For better or for worse.
I remember when we were going to the Olympics, I asked Hetty when I should go.
Oh my God. What'd she say?
She gave me, she said, give me 5 minutes. And she wrote down the whole schedule. And she was like, this is when you should go. This is when you should go to the village. This is the dates of when you're competing.
We needed to hire Hetty out. I feel
100%.
like her skill set was so underutilized.
Because it was just for one person. It could have been for
Right.
3. You,
it
me,
could have been for 3.
and Nathan. Exactly.
I didn't go to that Olympics because Hetty wasn't on my team, and I'll say it.
And finally, we've gotten to the bottom of that.
And there
Finally,
we go.
I'm brave enough to say it.
Write that down for the women's lore, Adam. Okay, so Nathan goes undefeated this whole season. He wins the Grand Prix final. He beats Shoma Uno there. Again, Yuzuru Hanyu doesn't go to the final because he's hurt, but Yuzu shows back up at the World Championships, which are in Japan in 2019. Nathan wins pretty easily because Yuzu has issues with his quad salchow in both programs, and an American skater named Vincent Zhou is third. So let's talk about Vincent Zhou, because he's going to be a main character too. So Vincent Zhou, in a lot of ways, is the Mario to Nathan Chen's Wario, or vice versa, depending on your perspective. They have a lot of similarities. They're both first generation Americans to Chinese immigrant parents. They both have very, very involved mothers in their skating. They both go to Ivy League schools. Vincent, not yet, but he will go to Brown later this quad. And they both are sort of at the forefront of doing a lot of quads in their programs.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, they could not be more different. Nathan skateboards, he plays guitar. Vincent writes poetry and does kind of like emo social media posts and mountain climbs. And
Which those don't feel like they should have a big overlap. Like
what?
poetry writing and mountain climbing, but I guess that is kind of poetic in itself. So
Isn't it?
No, it's like introspection. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like deep thinking. Vincent is a deep thinker who takes
he's a deep thinker.
He takes his material very seriously. Like if you talk to these two guys about their programs, like, with Nathan, you're going to kind of get something that feels a little bit surface level, even though obviously he's worked on it beyond that, but he's not going to say, talk about deep connection or deep kind of intention a lot of the times with his music. Whereas Vincent, this season is a good example. Vincent does a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon free skate where he is talking about how he wants to be ready to skate to Asian music at the Beijing Olympics, and like how he's getting ready for that. And this is 3 years before that. But he's like very serious.
Yeah.
This season, there are new rules around the under rotations of jumps. So if you are a relatively new figure skating watcher, these are the rules that that include the quarter call with the cues. Those didn't exist before. This is not good.
No, they did not.
Ashley wishes they did exist for longer, maybe. Vincent probably wishes they never existed because he did better without that as an option, the cue.
Yeah.
So he is still doing a lot of quads, but he starts to have some rotation issues. Those rotation issues are generally a symptom of training under Tammy Gamble and Tom Zakrychik, which he does at this point in time. So anyway, Vincent's in Colorado.
I also have a conspiracy theory really quickly about
Please.
under rotations and people coming out of the Colorado camps. I think when you're learning how to jump at altitude, I don't know, Adam, if you agree with this, but I always felt when I was at altitude, I had a little bit of help. Maybe it was mental, but I just felt like jumping at altitude was easier. And then you come down from altitude and your body feels heavier, like it just changes the way that the jumps feel. And so I think part of these under rotation calls aren't necessarily coming from the coaches themselves, but the environment that the skaters are training in. And then when they come back down to where the rest of us train, the jumps just feel different and the timing changes.
I mean, it is easier to jump in altitude. Like it is.
It is.
And it's harder to like do a program, but it's easier to do a singular jump. Like even back in the day, like the Europeans would go and they would train at these like rinks in the mountains, and this is where they would like get their jumps back like from the off season because it would be easier.
The air's thinner, you're rotating faster.
The air's thinner, and in the off season the body's thicker, so it just works out like that.
Okay, sorry. Conspiracy theory.
I think that's a completely fair conspiracy theory. He trains in Colorado, and he does struggle with under rotation issues, and he starts to have some recurring injury issues as well, which he talks about as he starts to become a little less consistent. Vincent, as you'll see, has some really high highs and some really low lows. So that's Vincent. And Vincent is sort of Nathan's ongoing domestic rival throughout this quad. And then what else is going on with the U.S. men? Jason Brown has cut his hair and moved to Toronto. So Jason Brown, who we talked about in the Sochi quad, becoming a fan favorite, going viral at the 2014 National Championships and going as this sort of unknown quantity to the Sochi Olympics. He continues to develop as a fan favorite and an artist throughout the Pyeongchang quad, where he does struggle with a few injuries, and he ultimately does not make the Pyeongchang Olympic team and is heartbroken by that. And he leaves his lifelong coach, Corey Ade, who he had kind of a weirdly close relationship with, to go to Toronto to train under Brian Orser and Tracy Wilson, who also train Yuzuru Hanyu. So this is like a huge change. Jason had previously said in quotes that he would never be coached by anyone but Corey. If people remember, Corey is a redheaded woman who you would have seen with Jason in the Kiss and Cry for most of his life. Like I said, she was like a second mom to him, his words, not mine. She like induced the labor of one of her pregnancies to make sure that the timing worked with one of Jason's events. Like they were very close, and like he was her star student. She's worked with some others. I remember Mariah Bell being with her when she was young, but Jason is like her crown jewel of her coaching career, and she really has not ever had someone be as successful as he was, and she hasn't since. So
yeah.
But you know, we in the last lore episode, we never mentioned
the ponytail.
Yes.
We're mentioning
Ponytail power.
Yes. Jason Brown used to have a ponytail. And why is he cut his hair and moved to Toronto, the title of his book. Why is that so powerful? Because this ponytail truly was like, he was the kid with the ponytail and he's cut it. Like he means business.
Yeah. And imagine it's middle part low pony.
Yes. And
mid-back.
And he's famous for it. So he feels borderline unrecognizable the first time we see him without it.
Oh my God. It was
but it very much
insane
feels symbolic of him leaving his childhood behind. It
Cutting
feels like
ties,
he's leaving his
cutting
childhood
hair.
coach. He's leaving the childhood hair.
Yeah.
And he goes to the coach of the current Olympic champion, which feels very like, I am being serious.
Yeah.
And Jason has a quote that is basically like, I don't know how much longer I'll be skating. We laugh at that now. He's still skating, but, he says that, and he says, I don't want to feel like I didn't get out of my comfort zone and regret it. So that's why he goes to Toronto. And he seems to kind of start getting his mojo back after a tough disappointment in 2018 this season. So those are the three. I'll just spoil the surprise for you. Those are the three American men who will go to the Beijing Olympics. There is not a ton of extra movement within the U.S. men's ranks throughout this quad. Those are the three main characters. And that's what's going on with them. But this season is generally a little bit bizarre. Keegan Messing and Mikhail Brezhnev and Sergei Voronov all go to the Grand Prix final. Do with that what you will. I don't think we've talked about many of them in the lore episodes, but they are all, at this point, much older skaters. They're all in their 30s. At least I think Keegan was already 30. But they're all older, at least late 20s.
What season is this?
This is 2018-19. This is the fall of 2018.
Voronov was still competing.
He was still going to the Grand Prix final.
Yeah, that's not competing. That's being competitive.
That's competing well.
Competitive. My gosh.
But yeah, post-Olympic season is always a little bit of, it's weird. So there's like some weird kind of sorting out of, Brezhnev and Voronov do not stick around. I don't want to say they don't stick around, but they don't remain at the high competitive level this entire quad. But they are there. And anyway, I'm going to move on to the next season, but this season ends with Nathan winning another world title. So that's 2 in a row. Yuzu gets second, Vincent gets third, and these become some main rivals for Nathan as we go through this quad. Shoma Uno is right off the podium in 4th place. Okay. Wow. And Kevin Aymoz makes his world championships debut for France. So he will become a main character in this quad also. So as we move on to 2019-2020, this season, Hanyu gives a quote that says that doing a quad axel is, quote, what I live for. And he has determined that this is what his main goal is going to be, is he's going to be the first skater to successfully do a clean quad axel in competition. And he says he wants to do it by the end of this season, which does not happen. But that is sort of where he is at. Shoma Uno changes coaches in the summer of 2019. Well, he doesn't really change coaches. He leaves his lifelong coach. So similar to what we were talking about with Jason Brown, he seemed quite close with her, had grown up with her. And he leaves, but he actually goes to a Terry Tuperitsa's camp in Russia for a brief moment.
Oh my God, I forgot.
Very brief moment. He doesn't stay.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh,
he doesn't stay.
God.
He has better judgment than someone that will come up later in the men's lore, but he does not stay, and he goes into the 2019-20 season coachless. And this leads to one of the most iconic performances of the quad, in my opinion, where he goes to Grand Prix France. He falls 3 times in his free skate there and really falls. I rewatched this. He really falls, and he skates to a cover of Dancing on My Own.
Just dancing on my own.
It's beautiful.
It is.
He gets up from every mistake because, by the way, he yard sail falls 3 times, but he also fucks up multiple other jumps. He's got his hands down on stuff. He's popping things. And every time the choreo in between the jumps, it feels like it gets better as it goes on.
It intensifies.
Yes. It's he's feeling more of the Dancing on My Own as he continues to make these mistakes. And it's this very, very beautiful moment on the ice that I will never forget. It's I loved Shoma from the jump, but this is one of my favorite moments of his career. And he's in France. The crowd is so with him. He tears up in the kiss and cry from they're chanting his name. He gets this awful score and, whatever. But that's where Shoma's at this season. And he spends a little time after this Grand Prix France in Champéry, Switzerland with Stéphane Lambiel. But that's all he's doing. He's just spending a little time there for now.
Mm-hmm.
Stéphane will eventually become Shoma's full-time coach, but they do not make that official until after this season is over. So Shoma goes through this season coachless.
Mm-hmm.
Shoma also branches out artistically this season. That program that I just said, like this is the first time Shoma is working with non-Japanese choreographers. So he works with Shailene Bourne and David Wilson. And it really like shows off like, you know, I don't want to say a new side of his skating because Shoma was always expressive from the time that he started competing or the first time I saw him compete, but it showed that he could do it to other kinds of music. The Shoma background, by the way, is that he came out of the same club that produced Mao Asada, who we will talk about in the women's lore, but one of the great Japanese women skaters of all time. He emerges on the senior scene in the fall of 2015 at Japan Open, skating to Nessun Dorma in green velvet, and Sarah Hughes, falls in love with him immediately. But like I said, you know, he was expressive from the jump. He has a natural sort of expressiveness with his face and with his body that like most skaters only dream of achieving. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, he's sort of like, you know, we talked about people like Vincent Zhou or Yuzuru Hanyu who sort of like live and breathe their material. And Shoma is like so expressive and beautiful on the ice. And then he just like eats junk food and plays video games.
Yeah.
When he's not on the ice.
Oh, wait, Adam, were you the one who was telling the Oreos?
I was just,
you need to tell us.
I think I've told the story on the podcast
You
before,
have.
but I remember when Shoma was like up and coming, because I had been doing shows with Shoma when he was like a young junior. And I was like, oh, he's so good. He's so cute. And then as he was getting better, I was like, oh, is it getting hot in here or is he getting much better very quickly? And then when he was starting to really establish himself, we were doing a show together in the summertime. And I saw him backstage with an open can of Coca-Cola, full sugar, and a sleeve of Oreos, eating them and washing down the Oreos with the can of Coca-Cola. And I just went up to him and I said, hey, how did it go? I'm assuming he had finished his program. And he goes, oh no, I'm in like two more skaters and then I'm going to put my skates on. And I was like, you're going to do that on a full stomach of dairy-free Oreos and a can of Coca-Cola? He went, oh, did triple axels. So yeah, he did. I went, that's not going to last. It lasted. Okay.
It did last. It did last. That's one of the spoilers of this episode. It does, in fact, last.
It will last, actually.
Yeah. So Shoma is sort of in turmoil. Yuzu is on this like mission from God about the quad axel, and Nathan is sort of just continuing to do what he was doing last season. He gets 2 new programs that eventually become sort of iconic programs of his. He skates to La Boheme in the short program and skates to Rocket Man, basically Elton John selections from the movie Rocket Man for his free skate. But he's still in New Haven. He's, you know, just doing what he's doing. And the Japanese boys are a little all over the place. They go to the Grand Prix final, which is billed as this like big showdown between Nathan and Yuzu. Nathan has arguably the best competition of his career. He scored a 335 total, which remains his highest total he ever gets in his career. He crushes him. He beats him by like 45 points.
Oh my God.
Yes. And while this is happening, I should say, I think like a big part of the men's lore is that Nathan and Yuzu maintain a very positive relationship with each other publicly. I'm not sure that there is much of one privately, but they are super respectful and nice to each other publicly, while the fans continue to devolve into hatred of each other. So And this does not do anything to help that situation because Nathan beats him by so much. And there's gloating by Nathan's fans, and it's like not cute.
Not cute.
No.
Not kind, not cute.
Because I would
Right.
even say that like they're both living in their own worlds. Like this rivalry really feels like it's between the fans.
Yes.
Because
I mean, I think it's on the ice. Like they know that they are the only true competition for the other, if that
Yes.
makes sense. But I don't think there is any like personal vitriol
No.
between these two guys at all.
Because the goals of each are like Nathan's goal, I think at this point is like let's win, and Yuzu's is like I've won everything. I'm going for my third Olympic gold medal. I have other goals, but I still
I'm
want
just starting
to
to
win.
have fun. I'm doing these crazy combinations. I'm going after the quad axle. Like, I guess, Sarah, would you say that there really was a sense of a rivalry between the two of them directly? Or do you feel like it was more just kind of within the world of figure skating? Because like when you think of Evan and Johnny, that felt like a rivalry of like what each versus each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to say because publicly they never say anything but nice things about each other. I mean,
Yeah.
Yuzu has a quote that is like, well, first of all, when he gets second to Nathan at the last World Championships, he gives a quote that he says, "Losing is like death to me," which
Oh my God. I never followed his career like this.
like this is why I set you up early on with Yuzu because he is like really deep in his own
I love it.
legend and
It's
mind.
so good.
So he says losing is like death to me. But again, that's not about Nathan. He also, you know, the
Right.
closest thing he does to like what I would like throwing shade, which I don't even think it's fair to call it this, is he basically says like, I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically like, it would have been kind of boring if I was the only one who could score above 300 points.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little
Yeah.
like ego funny, but like it's also,
True.
It's true.
you know, like that's as close as he comes to being like, yeah, I mean, good for him that he's like at my level. He sort of, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
but it's
Mhm.
not,
Yeah.
that's not really how I think he means it. I think that's just sort of the way he talks. And like, I think that for the most part, they express gratitude to each other's existence for like pushing them. And I, like you guys said, it's not like Yuzuru has anything to prove at this point. But that being said, he does win 4 continents in 2020, which does not matter, except that the fans make up an achievement called the Super Slam, which isn't real. And
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sure someone is going to come for me in the comments being like, no, it's real and blah, blah, blah. We said this about somebody else. I had never heard of a Super Slam until Yuzuru wins 4 continents and they say he did it, the Super Slam. And it just means that you like won all the major events in figure skating. So, you know,
Well,
he's
maybe that's why we haven't heard about it because none of us have accomplished
I
that.
never definitely heard of it.
I didn't.
I
come
just
close.
don't really, I don't think that's a thing. You know what I mean?
No,
it's like,
it's in for the skaters. Just to be clear, it's not a
no,
thing.
Right.
it's not a thing.
right.
It can be a thing for the fans. And congrats to Yuzu on his Super Slam. Could we have come up with like a better name that doesn't sound so basketball-y?
I
No.
don't- It
I
sounds
think-
I think it sounds Tennessee.
Like Grand Slam.
Yeah.
I just think of slam and welcome to the jam. Like I don't know.
I think it sounds very like Japanese, like the Saitama Mega Super Arena. Like it's
Oh my
always
God, that's fair.
the Super Slam Mega Ton.
Super Mario.
Losing
Mhm.
feels like death.
Yeah, but not at 4 continents because he won.
Hell yeah.
You're a winner, baby.
And by the way, it should be said, like Nathan is having sort of this incredible season or incredible stretch of several years, but Yuzuru Hanyu is still skating very well. He's skating very well. So it's not like he is like starting to lag behind. He's really not. He's a little less consistent than Nathan at this point in time. But like he is still like exhibiting some of the best skating we've ever seen. And actually at this Four Continents, he wins Four Continents with his old Olympic programs that he won in 2018 with.
Okay.
So he ditches the Plushenko, Johnny Weir programs after the Grand Prix final and goes back to his old ones, thinking he'll use those for the second half of the season. Ultimately, the last time he uses them is at Four Continents because the World Championships are canceled because of the pandemic.
That old thing?
So there's no World Championships in 2019, 2020. A couple other things I want to say about this 1920 season. One thing that I found really memorable in this season that I forgot happened was at Skate America, Keegan Messing shows up to Skate America just a few weeks after his brother passes away. And he does this very beautiful short program that I think Keegan was already pretty endeared to people. He's, you know, he's technically American. He's from Alaska, but he has skated for Canada for a very long time and is just sort of this like happy-go-lucky, smiley personality for the most part. Very like classic Canadian man, hands in the pockets, wearing a vest kind of guy. He puts on a cowboy hat every time he goes in the kiss and cry. He's generally well-liked by fans. But I think that performance that actually was to his wedding song, because he had just gotten married as well. And he sort of breaks down at the end of the program, which is perceived to be more about his brother than about his wedding. And I think that I forgot that happened. And so wanted to include it in the lore.
It was a nice moment.
Yes. The other things going on in this season, the Grand Prix final I mentioned with Nathan beating Yuzu by a lot. Kevin Aymoz gets third at this Grand Prix final. And this is the first time that I remember clearly Kevin crying a lot.
I was just about to ask if he cried.
Yes.
Okay. So tears very present.
Yeah. Kevin Aymoz is a crier. That is his
famous crier.
Yes, famous crier. Very hard on his sleeve performer from France. He mostly trains in Florida with John Zimmerman and Sylvia Fontana, which becomes sort of a fraught situation when John and Sylvia are named in a safe sport investigation, and John is ultimately suspended. Kevin and Sylvia continue to work together. He maintains this very close relationship with her. They're both criers. Sometimes she is crying more than Kevin is from the boards.
It's important to note that they both cry.
Yes. So anyway, that all is coming down the line, but that is that's like the Kevin
something to look
situation.
Forward to.
Tears.
Tears are coming, but tears come a lot at this Grand Prix final where he gets third. And that is kind of what establishes him as a true, international competitor. And then, Vincent misses this Grand Prix season because he goes to Brown. So he goes to Brown. He finds the balance of school and competing very, very challenging. He has trouble finding training facilities that are easy for him to get to and use. And so he does not go to his Grand Prix assignments in the fall. Then he starts working with Lee Barkel in Toronto. And that doesn't last very long because the pandemic happens. And then he goes back to Colorado where Tammy Gamble and Tom Zakrajek have broken up as a coaching team. And so Vincent is sort of caught in this divorce. So he ends up going back to his third coach, Christy Krall, who he stays with until the Olympics.
Who is also Colorado based.
Yes. So all three of them were working with Vincent before he goes to Brown. He goes to Brown. He's trying to sort of remotely work with them. Then he switches to working with Lee Barkel. And then he comes back to Colorado during the pandemic and goes with Christy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And nothing normal is going on with the Russian men. I feel like I'm trying to mention the Russian men semi-regularly because they are sort of around, but they never really break through. They have this sort of revolving door of people throughout this quad. Mikhail Kolyada is out of this season because he has like recurring sinusitis and he gets a nasal surgery that he like can't breathe through his nose for like 10 days after the surgery. And obviously his breathing is like generally very affected by this condition. So he has to really take his time getting back to training. He misses the whole season. And in his absence, Alexander Samarin makes the Grand Prix final. So does Dmitry Aliev. Do you remember these boys?
Dmitry, yes.
Alexander Samarin is like a real life nutcracker doll.
Yes. Okay. I remember this. I do not remember Dmitry.
Oh, I remember him now. Yeah.
Dmitry was he was like kind of hard on his sleeve kind of guy too. He was like, he didn't skate with one of the big Russian coaches. He was with Ruka Visin.
But he was like really pleasant to watch. If you
Yes.
watched him skate, you'd recognize him immediately.
So that's what's going on with the Russian men, like something weird. I don't know. Anyway, so that season is cut short, and we don't ever get to see Yuzu's Olympic programs again. World Championships are canceled. Those were supposed to be in Montreal. They will be made up 4 years later at the 2024 World Championships in Montreal. So the pandemic shuffles around everybody. Nathan leaves Connecticut, which I think he maybe was considering doing anyways, but he leaves a little bit earlier because of the pandemic. So he's back in Irvine, California with Rafael Artunian full-time and decides that he'll go back to Yale after the Olympics. So he's back full-time with Raf. Yuzuru Hanyu leaves Toronto, where he's been for many, many years at this point, to go back to Japan during the pandemic and is mostly skating by himself and training by himself. And he has some contact with, his coaches and choreographers back in North America, but he's doing a lot on his own at this point. I already went over Vincent, he moves to Toronto, then he immediately has to move back home because of the pandemic. So everybody has sort of been like shuffled around in this pandemic season. And the Grand Prix season is very weird because of the pandemic. 2 of the events are canceled, plus the Grand Prix final is canceled. So I'm not really gonna do the Grand Prix. It's very strange. It's like China hosts a Grand Prix and there's like 5 Chinese skaters in each field and that's it. It's like it's not a normal Grand Prix season. So we're going to mostly skip it.
Skate America is cardboard cutouts in Vegas or something like that.
Adam considers buying 30,000 cardboard cutouts at Skate America in order to just have his face everywhere in the stands.
I did. It was less expensive than you think to buy out the arena. Because I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I was every cardboard cutout? And then there's like 2 geckos, 2 life-size Geico geckos.
Right, find the gecko.
Yeah.
And it was less expensive than you think, more than I wanted to pay. So I
Okay.
never followed through. But next pandemic, I will.
Yeah, so it's very weird. It's like the skaters, in order to qualify for Skate America, if they weren't already if they didn't already have a buy, they had to send in a video, which was then posted by US Figure Skating, the qualifying videos, and Gracie Gold sent one in that looked like it was taped by a security camera in the upper right corner of the rink. They're all done by this, they all look grainy and messed up, and it's a weird time. It's a weird time.
I did not see any of this and was just so blissfully unaware during these months.
We watched all of these qualifying programs.
Yeah, because Sarah was living with me.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Adam and I were living together for this period of time, and we watched everything.
Yeah, and I was working with Mariah. So I was up to date on everything that was happening. And it was I couldn't believe we were living in an era where somebody's iPad submitted video would qualify them to an international competition.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, the only thing I'm going to call out from the Grand Prix season that I think matters is that Yuma Kageyama wins Grand Prix Japan in his first senior season on the Grand Prix circuit. Again, this is not really a real season on the Grand Prix circuit, but this is his first time having a senior assignment at the Grand Prix, and he wins Grand Prix Japan. Yuma Kageyama will become a main character from here on out. Yuma is the son of Masakazu Kageyama, who was a single skater at the 1992 and 1994 Olympics. Yuma has a jump technique to die for. He has like this beautiful, soft knee bend. He comes up in juniors side by side with his teammate Shun Sato, and they have like a little rivalry going on. I don't think it's personal. I think it's just results wise, but they come up next to each other. And one of Yuma's idols outside of Japan, because obviously as many men to idolize in Japan, is Nathan Chen. So we get to the World Championships, which do happen because they have to happen because they need to determine Olympic spots. So they do the World Championships in Stockholm, Sweden, with no crowd. This is the first time we are seeing Yuzuru Hanyu and Nathan Chen against each other since the Grand Prix final way back that we were talking about. So it's been a year and 4 months since we've seen them against each other. Hanyu is coming off of this like very, very incredible nationals performance. He's been on his own. We haven't really seen him skate. He goes to nationals and he skates amazing. And Nathan is also skating very well at home, like winning his, national title. And so they come and it's kind of feeling like another clash of the Titans here. Nathan gets third in the short program after he falls, and Yuzu is perfect in the short program. So is Yuma. They both beat Nathan in the short program, but Nathan has 5 quads in his free skate and gets his vengeance. And Yuma Kageyama is the world silver medalist.
And Yuzuru gets third. Correct.
Yes, thank you. And Shoma Uno is fourth again. So Shoma was fourth 2 years ago. This is like the amazing part of Shoma Uno's career is he has like this whole period of time where it's a little rocky and who is he training with and whatever. And he gets fourth at the World Championships both times as that's happening. Mm-hmm. So he's doing fine. And I do want to call out that the 5th place finisher in Stockholm is Mikhail Kolyada, who has now started skating with Alexei Mishin, who has been mentioned many times in the men's lore, and also he'll be in all the lores maybe. But Mikhail does this program to the White Crow soundtrack. I don't know if you guys remember this. It's maybe like his most beautiful program ever.
Phenomenal.
And Mikhail does not make it to the Olympics, so this is kind of the last major appearance for him. So I wanted to call that out, that he gets 5th at these Worlds. Also at these Worlds, Nathan gets first, as I said. Mm-hmm. Who helps the U.S. get 3 spots?
Oh, this is really important.
Yes. Jason Brown. Mm-hmm. Saves the day for the U.S., which is becoming a theme and is an ongoing theme to this day.
Now,
so Jason
Sarah
gets 7th place.
Okay, so Jason gets 7th place. What happened to Vincent? Because Vincent...
I wish I knew. He gets 25th place in the short program and misses the free skate.
Doesn't qualify. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this is what I mean about Vincent's high highs, low lows. This is a low low. This is the first time that we're having the rules in place where you have to have all of your skaters in the free skate to get the number of spots that we currently use that rule now. But this is the first time this is enacted. So Vincent missing the free skate means that Vincent will have to go in the fall to Nebelhorn to get the 3rd spot. But Jason saves the possibility of the U.S. getting that 3rd spot because Vincent just sort of implodes in the short program. So that's that, and we're moving on to Olympic season. Are you ready?
Ready.
I was born ready. Losing feels like death.
Do you feel like you know what's going to happen?
No, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Okay, so the first thing I'll say is that the pandemic effects are continuing this season. Grand Prix China gets canceled, so does the Grand Prix final. So we don't have the Grand Prix final this season as a barometer, which we normally would in an Olympic season for the top 6 skaters. So we don't really have that to go off of, which becomes sort of like we go in a little bit blind into the Olympics as to like how everybody's going to stack up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Chen does something crazy in Olympic season, which is that he brings back the music from his cursed short program from the last Olympics.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So he's like very hush-hush about what he's going to do all summer. He doesn't say what his programs are in the fall. He gets to Skate America and plays the music. And it's like, whoa. It's not exactly the same cut, but it includes part of the same cut, which is a song called Nemesis by Benjamin Clementine, which was, as you'll remember, at the 2018 Olympics, he had 2 disastrous short programs in the team event and the individual.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to bring this back as in some, aim for redemption. And the gods immediately smite him by making him lose his first competition since the 2018 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
He gets 3rd at Skate America. And
He got 3rd?
Vincent Zhou wins, and Shoma Uno gets 2nd.
Oh my God. Well, who's the nemesis now?
Well, exactly. But by the way, unbelievable Skate America field. Those 3 are all there.
That's incredible.
Kind of incredible. But so, yes, so Nathan hasn't lost in almost 4 years, and he loses upon bringing this program back. He goes to Skate Canada immediately the next week, and he gets it sorted out. He wins Skate Canada, but he ends up changing these programs. He was doing a Mozart free skate that he doesn't keep. And he goes back to the ones I referenced earlier, La Boheme in the short program and Rocket Man in the free skate. He does get a different long sleeve t-shirt to do Rocket Man in. It's more like a fiery orange rather than the highlighter yellow he had previously had.
Oh, I forgot the highlighter. Yeah, he really was like in these Vera
In a
Wang.
t-shirt.
It was like Vera Wang had just bought this 3D printer, and she was like, I'll just make all of the costumes on this.
They all
It's true.
looked like, for anyone who has kids, they all look like the sun shirts that you put your toddlers in, where they have like a little mock
100%.
turtleneck.
Yes,
And
yes.
they're like the same material. I would bet money on it.
That is so true. Nathan Chen was not gonna get a sunburn.
No.
Nathan Chen was wearing Hannah Anderson by Vera Wang.
No, he was not going to get a sunburn. It was like conservative swimwear.
So modest.
And she sent it over to him with a pair of beach shoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some sandals.
Yeah. So Nathan has sort of a weird start to the season. And by the way, Nathan is like not doing a lot of media this entire season. Like he is like very freaked out about what, I shouldn't assign that to him. But it comes off as though he is like very much trying to stay in a bubble so that he does not have a repeat of what happened in Pyeongchang in Beijing. So he sort of keeps to himself and only does the media he has to do and just like goes about his business. Okay. Vincent is like riding high off of beating Nathan in this Grand Prix, and he wins another medal on the Grand Prix. Jason Brown also wins 2 medals on the Grand Prix this season. So we have 3 U.S. men who have each won 2 medals on the Grand Prix. Again, the Grand Prix final does not happen, but it matters that all 3 of them have done this.
Yes.
It will matter. So let's go to nationals. Nathan wins nationals relatively easily. Ilya Malinin.
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
Tell us about him.
Yes.
Haven't heard the name.
Ilya Malinin is a new senior. He is making his senior national debut. So we have not seen him at senior nationals. And we actually have not seen him at junior nationals because he misses 2020 and 2021 nationals with injuries. So he never competes at the junior level at nationals. He does do junior Grand Prix, but he, for 2 straight years has injury problems and doesn't go to nationals. So he then shows up to senior nationals in Olympic year in Nashville. And he does 6 quads across his 2 programs. He does these he does very juniorish programs. He does a Michael Jackson, Billie Jean short program where he's very much dressed up as Michael Jackson Halloween costume. But he does 6 clean quads. He does a quad Lutz in both programs. And it feels a bit out of nowhere because he hasn't been at nationals and because he's been sort of like buried down on the junior Grand Prix, and the junior Grand Prix final was canceled too. So he had done well in the junior Grand Prix this season, but we didn't see him at the junior Grand Prix final. So it feels a little out of nowhere.
Right.
And he shows up at nationals and gets second to Nathan. Vincent Zhou has a very messy free skate and gets third, but only beats Jason Brown, who's in fourth, by 1 point.
Okay.
And again, those 3 senior men have gotten 2 medals each on the Grand Prix. Nathan Chen feels like a foregone conclusion. He has won 3 straight world titles at this point. Could have been 4 had there been one in 2020. So he's won 3 consecutive world titles. He's the reigning Grand Prix final champion from whenever the last time it was that they held the Grand Prix final, which is 2 years ago at this point. And Nathan won nationals, so he's going to the Olympics. But there is a big conversation that ensues about whether Ilya Malinin should go to the Olympics. Because he is, and there's like schools of thought about this. He's the future. We should give experience to the future and all of this. And that is sort of the argument you would make if you wanted to make an argument against Jason Brown, who has been around for a really long time, because Vincent is still quite young at this point as well. You could also there were people making the argument that, well, Jason got the 3 spots. Vincent went and got the 3rd spot, but he only had the chance to do that because of Jason, as we went over. Jason is the consistent one. He doesn't have a quad, but he is like the reliable one that you like want to have around. So that would be the argument for including Ilya over Vincent. And then, of course, there's the argument that ultimately U.S. figure skating goes with, which is these are our 3 most successful senior skaters with the most impressive body of work. Part of that is simply because of their age. They're old enough to have a better body of work than Ilya, but they don't send Ilya to the Olympics. And it's sort of heated backstage at U.S. championships with people disagreeing about what they should or should not have done.
I do just feel like your first senior international competition being the Olympics, I remember this being so heated and up for and to me, I felt like it was pretty black and white, because the Ilya that we know today versus the Ilya that showed up in Nashville at this Olympic qualifying event, he truly looked, when you see a puppy dog and they have those massive meat paws and they're just like feet that are too big for their body. He just reminded me of a puppy dog that just wasn't refined yet. The quads are very much what we're seeing today. He's an incredible technical athlete, but it was really sloppy. It was really unrefined. And I remember thinking like, no, this is the obvious right choice that we're making. But it was truly, it felt like 50-50.
People were upset.
But you know what's also interesting? It's like, it reminded me a little bit of like, in 2016, when Nathan lost nationals, the last time he doesn't win nationals before he starts winning all of his titles. In 2016, he does 6 quads across the 2 programs, and when he talks about this year, he says that it was like really devastating to him because he didn't know what more he could do. But then it became this like turning point in his career of like, okay, I'm just gonna keep plugging along. I'm gonna focus on these other things, and it feels like it's this really important moment for Ilya, where it's like you do all of this stuff, but you still have to like stay back. It's not your time. You have to buckle down and focus. And I think like as we get further closer to the modern day of where we are today, I think it's he will look back and see it as a really important moment for him.
Oh yeah.
Because
I think
you're
set
right.
the tone.
It was so heated backstage.
Yeah.
I mean, there was talk of like maybe he'll go represent Russia.
Yep.
Immediately,
Like,
people were like, he's leaving.
Like people were so mad. I'm not saying that was coming from him. I'm just saying like that there was like people being like, well, if U.S. figure skating is not going to value what he has, then he should just go represent another country. Like it was very heated.
I know for a fact that there were cash offers from Russia to him. So
well, what other kind of offer would Russia make? Other than cash.
Drug. A drug prescription.
Drugs. Prescription. Vitamins.
A vitamin offer.
A vitamin offer. I think it also just like underscores the mentalities that we have in skating though, because I don't feel like the frustration was around anything that had to do with Vincent. I think it was the fact that Jason was being put onto this team without any major quad in his program, any quad consistency over the last couple of years. And it's that school of thought of the quad, what's more valuable, really good, clean skating or really competitive, technical jumping and quads?
Yep. Yeah, but at the same time, like Jason's coming off of being 7th at the World Championships the year before. It's not like he is
it's
way
not like Jason's
down.
not a competitive athlete.
Exactly. And he did it in this high pressure situation where spots had to be earned and he earned them. So I think, yeah.
Let us remember that through the first 3 parts of the lure, we've all learned that we've been brainwashed. That it is these beautiful, clean programs, these beautiful like performances that were originally the winners of these events, whether they had the more technical program or not. It was always that was the most valued thing. At this point in history, we are brainwashed of thinking more means win.
Yes. And Jason is doing 2 of his best programs ever this season, by the way. He's skating to Sinnerman by Nina Simone in the short program.
So good.
This program is great. This
It's
is
so
one of the
good.
greatest men's programs.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
It's so unique. It's so, I rewatched it.
Oh, I forgot. I'm getting chills. I forgot
Me too.
how much I loved this program. Oh my God. I'm actually getting really hot and excited about it.
I rewatched it while I was writing notes for this, and it's really like, it's a jazzy program, and it's how in jazz they do scatting, like where it's just like and like they're just making it up as they go along. Like that is sort of the impression. Obviously it's choreographed, but that's like the impression that he gives doing his choreo and his step sequence. Like he's just going with the music and feeling it as he goes.
Every
which is
time.
not what he's doing, but it's like he makes you feel like that's what he's doing. It's a masterpiece.
It's my first reaction to watching it, I remember when I watched it for the first time, my first reaction was absolute seething jealousy that I wasn't able to skate exactly like that. Seething, green-eyed, blood dripping down the sides, the corners of my mouth. and then immediately slapping myself out of it and then going, "Oh, it's really good." And then now, having not watched it for a few years, I'm actually I'm overcome with joy of how amazing this program is. This is, and we haven't even talked about his longtime choreographer at this point, Roheen Ward. They've had this amazing relationship together. And this is, I think, the pinnacle. This is the best stuff that they've ever made. This program.
It's actually this set of programs because he does Schindler's List in the free skate, and it is gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
I think David Wilson did the Schindler's List.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I just mean this is two of Jason's.
It's absolute. This
is maybe Jason's best pairing of programs ever.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually I'm beaming because these programs are so
I
good.
remember having chills watching him do these programs up close at nationals this year. And yeah, so we've all been brainwashed because these are the programs we remember the most. I will say, actually, Nathan's programs were very memorable this season as well. I loved La Boheme. I loved Rocket Man.
These are Nathan's best programs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Because they're so him to a core. They're so
There's a
him.
lot of good material to go around at these Olympics. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
And I'm so sorry, Sarah.
No, don't. Keep going.
There is, I don't think that this is the year that Vincent skates to it, but there is one, Vincent skates to the song Vincent. And
Yes.
that's one of my favorite
forgot about that.
Vincent
that was great
programs.
for him.
Oh my God. It's like, that's my,
It's this season.
it is.
It's the Olympic season.
Oh, I have more chills. Oh my God. I forgot how good these boys were.
Yes.
Wait, what happened to his Asian themed program?
He brings that back. The free skate. He does Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yes. So he was not lying about preparing for the Olympics 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He brings back Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is, it's a Laurie Nickel program. It's a masterpiece. It's very, very good.
Yes.
So he brings that back and he's skating to, yes, a song called Vincent in the short program. So all the U.S. boys who end up going to the Olympics
have their shit together.
have really good programs. I don't know
Sorry.
that I can say they all have their shit together.
Sorry, I spoke too soon. Their choreography shit is together.
None of them do 2 clean programs at nationals. So just,
Overrated, not needed.
This was a crazy time, though. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Omicron variant,
The super spreader event.
COVID, was everywhere as we were leading up to these Olympics. So, like, the men's event is less affected by this at nationals in Nashville, but the women's event gets hit. The pairs event gets hit.
The women's event is
And
decimated.
so it's like a weird, crazy time. Like, everyone is trying desperately not to get sick because China has these very, very stringent entry standards for people they have to have all these negative tests and they have to test negative upon
Oh my God,
arriving.
I forgot it was like you also had to be like
couldn't
negative
leave.
for a few weeks
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
Oh my, it was
That's
roll the
correct.
dice. Oh God. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I had COVID right around New Year. So or Christmas. I had it like on Christmas. And so I had it like right before these national championships. I had to prove that I had been negative to go to nationals. And I had all this extra paperwork to do for the Chinese government.
Yes, because you had it like within the last 3 months. And I got
Yes.
lucky because I was unlucky and I got it when me and Sarah went to Tahoe and I got COVID in Tahoe. And then I drove and I gave Mariah a lesson. And I was like, I'm not feeling too well. Hi, Nathan. How are you? And then, up in Mariah's face the whole time. And then I'm driving home from the rink, and who we went to Tahoe with, Sarah called me on the phone. She was like, okay, pull over. And I was like, why? She was like, our friend tested positive for COVID. And I was like, I have it. I know I have it.
Yeah. And you're on your way home. I was there with you.
You were,
still.
yes.
And
you were
so
leaving like the next day, but you stayed because you were like, I think I'll have it
assumed I
too.
had it. Yes. And then I didn't get it until Christmas 2 months
And
later.
thank God I did not give it to Nathan Chen and I did not give it to Mariah Bell or anyone at that rink. Thank God.
Wait, did you tell them or did you sit and
I
wait?
had
You
to
did
tell
tell
them.
them.
I
Yeah.
told them right away. I had to because I was like, because if one of them got it, the other one couldn't get. Like I needed to obviously I had to tell them right away.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like there was a Delta variant and an Omicron variant, and it was just everywhere. COVID was everywhere again. And we were vaccinated, but everyone was getting it. So this leads to some drama at the Olympics in Beijing. There's no fans allowed. There's no families go with these skaters.
Mhm.
And there are multiple high-profile incidents of COVID affecting skaters and coaches early on at the game. So Stefan Lambiel, who's coaching Shoma Uno, misses the team event because he tests positive. So Stefan Lambiel, who you'll remember, 2006 Olympic silver medalist, now coaches Shoma Uno after Shoma's coachless heartbreaker of a season. Stefan has at least 2 students at these Olympics, Shoma and Denis Vasilyevs from Latvia. He makes it in time for the men's event, but he misses the team event. Keegan Messing also misses the team event. He gets COVID. He cannot go to Beijing in time for the team event, which brings in Roman Sadovsky to do 2 programs for Canada in the team event because they did not have Keegan there yet. And Keegan doesn't end up getting to the Olympics until the day before the men's short program. Crazy.
Oh my God.
I'm sweating.
And by the way,
so stressful.
the free skate that Roman Sadovsky does in the team event is the only free skate he will do in Beijing.
So he doesn't make the free skate.
Correct. He sort
Very-
of gives his best stuff to the team and then does not, Roman is famously high highs, low lows as well, similar to Vincent. And so
I don't mean to rush you along, but he made the short program and Vincent doesn't even make it to the short program.
Well, so the team event happens. Nathan Chen seems to do away with his short program demons at the Olympics. He does a masterful short program in the team event and wins the segment for the U.S. He splits the segments with Vincent Zhou, who does a good free skate. He gets 3rd in the free skate. And the U.S., for the time being, gets 2nd in the team event. That's another story for another day, but they do win a gold medal eventually. So that is the only program that Vincent will do in Beijing. He tests positive for COVID after the team event, and he posts an emotional video from quarantine, like a quarantined hotel room in Beijing, announcing that he will not be in the men's event. And it's very traumatic for him. He's very, very upset, obviously. Yeah,
it's heartbreaking.
Yes, it's devastating. So he doesn't enter the men's event and has to watch it from his hotel room. I actually don't remember if he said he watched it live or not. I think he did.
I would not be able to watch that.
But there is no chance for us to send Ilya as the substitute at this point, right?
That's correct. It's just Jason and Nathan for the U.S. in the men's event at this point. Yuzuru Hanyu skips the team event. He does not compete in the team event. Shoma Uno and Yuma Kageyama do the team event. And Japan gets 3rd, again, for the time being. They will eventually upgrade to silver. And so we go on to the men's event. Keegan Messing is finally here. Stefan Lambiel is here to coach his students. And Yuzuru Hanyu is here and still claiming that he is going to do the quad axel at the Olympics. He still has not done it cleanly. He's tried it at nationals. He has not been able to get it all the way around. He usually is 2-footing, downgraded, falling on this jump. But he makes a statement essentially being like, if I don't do it at the Olympics, I'll feel like I betrayed people who are expecting me to try it because, I said that I was going to do this. And, so I need to do this. Ultimately, you're going into the Olympics and you're thinking, oh my God, like, what if Nathan and Yuzu are both clean and he just messes up the quad axel and that makes the difference and he could win a 3rd Olympics if he just did a triple axel? There was a lot of debate,
of course.
I remember, of people who were going to watch it of should he be attempting this?
Right. But it's I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go.
We'll never know the headspace that somebody like Yuzuru is in, because it's what would it be like to, it's not a yearly competition that you're defending the title of. It's the Olympic fucking games.
Yes.
He's been defending this title for over the course of 2 quads now. This is the 3rd quad. He's entering the 3rd quad. I can't imagine what's motivating him at this point. I can't imagine what it must feel like. So it has to be this crazy goal that like he's now set the marker so much further ahead for himself of like, this is what's going to keep me going.
Yes.
But you'd have to imagine, like you said, if the goal was a third title.
Right. So there's a lot of going back and forth about the risk reward of him doing this quad axel.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, that is not what makes the difference. Hanyu goes out on the short program and he does a single salchow to open his program. He places 8th in that segment. He blames a hole in the ice that we're all still looking for, but he says that there was a hole in the ice. Nobody else comments on this hole. Who knows what exactly it was? It looked a little like he just sort of rushed his takeoff. He does a single salchow.
It was... I had never heard... I mean, there weren't many people in the arena while this was happening. But the only other time the arena was so quiet is maybe when nobody was inside it. It was...
Yeah.
It's devastating when that happens because you're watching somebody who you know... Like, it's just... It felt really... It was awful.
I mean, it's incredibly deflating. You're watching in that moment someone's fight for Olympic gold just disappear.
Exactly.
Yes. So he is in 8th after the short program. Like all hope is not lost. It's probably lost for gold. So he's in 8th. He does recover in the free skate. It's not perfect. He falls on a quad axel attempt. He falls twice. He otherwise does a very clean program and is good enough to get 3rd in the free skate. So he's very, very good. He ends up off the podium in 4th. Nathan Chen is almost completely clean. He makes a mistake in his free skate, but there's no one that can touch him. He wins Olympic gold by like 22 points in his orange spaceship looking Rocket Man long sleeve t-shirt, which is always how I picture Nathan now.
Yeah.
And he gets off the ice, and I remember you can hear in the microphone when he comes off, he makes a comment to his trainer. He had a combination that was, I want to say, quad toe, half loop, triple flip. And
Yes.
he goes and he pops the flip on the end. That was like his one mistake in the free skate. Easily wins Olympic gold and makes a comment when he gets off the ice that's like, well, I'm going to hear about that from my mom. I'm going to hear about that flip.
Oh my God.
I'm
A heady
paraphrasing. I don't remember
reference.
the exact comment, but he says something like, I'm going to be hearing about that flip. So that's how the Olympics shakes out for Nathan and Yuzuru Hanyu. Yuma Kageyama is the silver medalist. He skates a glorious program to music from Gladiator, which is probably most famous for Alexei Yagudin using it at this point. He had used it in 2001. But Yuma's Gladiator is so, so, so good. And our favorite troubled dancer, Shoma Uno, 2nd Olympic medal, he gets bronze. Skating to Bolero in the free skate. In a lot of ways, you could call this, instead of the Beijing Games, the Bolero Games. And we'll get to that
In the women's lore.
In the women's lore.
But yeah, so those are your 3 medalists. The men from Japan go 2, 3, 4, with perhaps the greatest of all time getting 4th. Jun-Hwan Cha, who we mentioned getting 3rd at a Grand Prix final a few seasons ago, gets 5th. He is increasingly very famous in Korea. He's doing a lot of modeling. He's doing a lot of like product sponsorship. He's doing TV appearances. He's beautiful. And Jason Brown gets 6th place with his 2 excellent programs.
Insane.
Yes. Insane. So, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, well, that's vindication for them choosing him over Ilya Malinin. But it shows that Jason is as competitive internationally as U.S. figure skating thought he could be, and that he deserved to be there.
Completely.
And just such a shame about Vincent Zhou not being able to be there. And to finish this season up, by the way, Beijing is the last time we see Nathan Chen or Yuzuru Hanyu on competitive ice. It is very much the end of an era. I mean, for Yuzu, it's the end of a generation. You know, Nathan Chen is more of an era. Yuzu is
he spans generations.
Yes.
No, he's earned speaking about himself in third person.
Correct.
In a way that we haven't.
Oh, for sure.
No, I will always speak about myself in the first person.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to earn it.
And we're not going to see Vincent Zhou much again either. He goes to the World Championships a month after the Olympics and gets some redemption. He gets third at the World Championships in 2022. But, you know, worlds are not redemption for Olympics, as we've talked about. It's, you know, but he is very gratified by being on this podium. He's very emotional and very happy to have been able to do his two programs one more time and to do them well. And Shoma Uno wins his first world title in 2022.
It's about time.
He has finished second twice. He has finished fourth twice. And Ilya Malinin makes his World Championships debut. He gets ninth, right behind who should be in eighth place, an up-and-coming French skater named Adam Siao.
Rip on.
And that's the Beijing quad. So should we come to present day?
Let's get to present day.
Take us home,
So-
Sarah.
I'm ready.
We are now in the Milan quad, which felt very weird to type out on my paper. So I've never said Milan quad out loud. So the Milan quad becomes the era of Shoma, Yuma, Ilya Malinin, Adam Siao, and we will have more emerging characters. But Jun-Hwan is still a main character here, but we are now no longer is it the Nathan Yuzu show. They are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yuzuru Hanyu announces his retirement in the summer of 2022. He continues to skate in shows and produce his own series of shows. He remains incredibly famous in Japan. He, in 2023, will announce that he's married randomly, and then 3 months later will announce that he's divorced. So he's
cool.
just doing
It's so cool.
what he's doing. He's
Now,
doing
wait.
what he's doing.
He also sells out the Tokyo Dome in a one-man show.
Yeah, he can do anything he wants, essentially.
Well, the Super Smash stardom.
Exactly.
Of it all.
Because he has that Super Smash Brothers.
Nathan Chen goes back to Yale. Vincent Zhou also goes back to college. And we have a new era begins. But Shoma Uno is sort of the main carryover from the previous eras who is with us here.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not the headliner in the fall
college.
of 2022 because in Salt Lake City at the U.S. International Classic, Ilya Malinin does a quad axel.
Yeah.
It's
Bow, bow,
insane.
bow.
Yeah, right?
And it also, I remember when hearing that he was going to be trying them in practice and was like, how foolish is he? Another stupid thing I said, you know, because it's like I'm on a track record of watching Yuzuru skate for the first time going, wow, he's pretty sloppy. Okay, egg on my face. I see Shoma Uno with a roll of Oreos and a 6-pack of Coke going, it's never going to work out. And now my third one, strike 3 on me. I'm out. Ilya Malinin, he'll never do that quad axel.
I don't know. I just feel like when I heard he was even trying them, I was like, if it didn't work out for Yuzu, it's not going to work out for you. Like if Yuzu
Right.
can't do this, no one can.
know,
It's impossible.
And Sarah, something that we should mention is that at this time, like Yuzuru was training on his own, getting ready for the Beijing Games, but he was also like, because we were in this like COVID era, we were sending coaches were getting videos from skaters, and especially if their skater was out of town. Yuzuru was consulting with Alexei Mishin on this quadruple axel and sending videos and getting tips and trying to learn from the best on how to do this. And I remember articles where Mishin would give interviews saying, I believe that scientifically it's physically impossible to do this quadruple axel. He's like, it might happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the absolute pinnacle of like what the human body is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And not a few months after that do we see the first one ever in competition.
Yes. So Ilya does a quad axel in September at U.S. International Classic, and a month later he does it at Skate America in Boston. And it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Let's do Ilya's backstory. There's not that much to it yet. He's still very young, but we didn't really do it before, other than that he sort of came out of nowhere at 2022 Nationals. But Ilya's parents are both Olympic figure skaters. They represented Uzbekistan. His mom, Tatiana Malinina, won the Grand Prix final in 1998. She won 4 continents in 1999. Ilya is like your sort of, I guess I don't know many teenage boys, so I don't know if I should say this, but at this point in time, he seems sort of like your average kind of teenage boy who just wants to post cool videos of the cool tricks that he is doing in practice. And he goes by Quad God. That is his Instagram handle. You'll remember that Nathan Chen has just won the Olympics. He was called affectionately by the media the Quad King. So Ilya goes by Quad God. He treats figure skating like
self-named,
which I'm so sorry is incredible.
It's incredible
because he did this as a 13-year-old.
I love it.
Yes.
I think it's just very important to note, and he has earned it.
Yes,
since
he has.
But what a risk to take!
Huge. Imagine
no
I
risk,
called
no reward.
myself absolutely. Imagine it's 2009 and I go Quad God. I knew better.
Yeah,
I knew better.
And Ilya didn't know better, and thank God.
Ilya knew. Period.
Mm-hmm. He also knew better, actually.
So Ilya treats figure skating sort of like an extreme sport. He acts like a snowboarder. He's like showing off his ollies that are doing. Yes, he's showing off his flips. He's doing whatever, which is, it's different than the way that the top men have been for the most part. It's not that no men have acted like this, but the top men have not really been like this. The top men in the last, that we've been talking about in these lore episodes, not like this. So it's a very new feeling for someone who's internationally competitive to be acting this way. And I think the figure skating community goes through some like growing pains with taking in this attitude of his. Mm-hmm. But, people argue that, and I think rightfully so, that he brings in sort of a different type of fan. Maybe he's accessible to fans in a way that other skaters may not have been, who are more like into the art. And he sort of like represents a different type of artist and a different approach to the sport. His agent, Ari Zakarian, who is well known in figure skating circles, having been Yevgeny Plushenko's agent for many years, makes some questionable comments about how he's like a real man in skating and blah, 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 which I don't think is maybe what we want to say about Ilya. But I think there's something to the idea that he is a different type of skater than we've seen at the top level in a long time. Yeah. He is a little more like a brash sort of Plushenko type skater. Mm-hmm. And so, and like Adam said, this sort of one of the canon events in Ilya's career is being left off of the Beijing Olympic team when he has gotten second at nationals. Mm-hmm. He sort of goes through a very, what I would say, is a very normal, steady growth trajectory. Ilya steadily improves his artistry. He steadily improves his consistency. He struggles a little bit with consistency in these first couple seasons of the Milan Quad, as we'll talk about. But he, over time, gets more consistent, leans more into the artistry that works for him and develops in that direction. And he also continues to just like develop himself as a brand. He creates Quad God merch and wears it. He like creates other merch that hoodies and with his protocols on it, which is, you know, one of the things that he does. So
he's also an active Instagram notes status writer. I literally just now wanted to like go look at his profile while you were talking about him, and he has one up currently. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing.
Thank God.
And they're always very heavy and a little bit of a downer, and it's very like, you good, bro?
It's very like me doing a Facebook status when I was 16.
So that, except it doesn't live forever. And quite honestly, we would have all benefited from that.
We really would have. Mine are saying Sarah Hughes is, and then there's like a lyric from a Panic at the Disco song.
Right, of course.
Like awful. I'm grateful that he is an avid notes writer on Instagram.
Me too.
And I don't think I said this, but his parents coach him. So his parents, who were figure skaters, are his coaches, and he also works with Nathan Chen's former coach, as well as your former coach, Raphael Artunian, but less frequently because he doesn't live there. So
he trains in DC.
Yes. So we go into this season, and Ilya gets third at the World Championships. He gets third at the Grand Prix final. Shoma Uno goes undefeated this season. So this is really the season of Shoma. He shows his versatility in the artistic side. He skates to John Mayer in the short program. He skates to Bach Classical in the free skate. Both are amazing programs, and he wins everything. And Ilya is a little bit up and down. He's mostly very good, obviously. I mean, he's on the world podium. He's on the Grand Prix final podium, but he is held back by his component scores and is not at this point seen as an artistic skater at all. So he's really not, like, he's getting a lot of flack for not having any artistry in his programs. And so at the World Championships, he loses, he gets third, he's behind Shoma, who wins, and Jun-Hwan breaks through finally at the World Championships and finishes second. He does not have as many quads in his program, but he's better scored on artistry, which feels very much like a statement that's being made to Ilya. And Ari subsequently has some sort of crazy quotes about it in the media, about how the ISU doesn't appreciate what Ilya is doing and what he's bringing to the sport and blah, blah, blah. But it feels like they are trying to send a clear message to him that he needs to develop as an artist. And what's interesting is that Ilya's free skate this season is to music from Euphoria. And I sort of like, I look back on that program and I'm like, I'm not saying his artistry was highly developed, but that is like exactly the artistic mode I see Ilya in to this day. Like that is the type of material that works for him. So he was starting to find his way, but he wasn't there yet. And Jun-Hwan did these, like he does this short program to Michael Jackson, which is amazing. He's like so good. And he does No Time to Die, the James Bond program in his free skate. And finally,
amazing. Finally
does like multiple clean quads because he has a lot of rotation troubles and consistency problems, but he finally gets it done and he gets second. Shaylin Bourne is doing June's programs, by the way. And actually, Shaylin is working with Ilya as well. And he's going to keep working with her over time. Kevin Aymoz gets fourth at the World Championships, and Jason Brown gets fifth. So he's still just
in the mix.
Doing what he's doing.
Wait, and at this point, is Jason doing the professional skating where he's not skating on the Grand Prix circuits? He's only doing shows. Makes an appearance at nationals, almost like he's a guest appearance. Gets second, and then, is put on the world team.
That's correct.
And it pays off because he's such a reliable skater that you know he's going to get the judges' recognition. He's going to score well, and he's going to skate clean.
Yes. So Jason is sort of plugging along, doing what he's doing and doing it very well. Shoma Uno wins his second world title, and Ilya Malinin has some ground to make up artistically after being third at Worlds. One of the reasons I brought up Kevin Aymoz is he starts to go through a tough year after he gets fourth at Worlds here. So he has a pretty good season on the Grand Prix in 2023. This is the fall of 23. He makes the Grand Prix final, but he's really up and down. He gets sixth at the Grand Prix final, and eventually has some disastrous performances at nationals and Europeans. He does not go to Worlds in 2024. And he talks about dealing with depression and just seems to not even be enjoying himself at all. I do want to say that there is, out of this period of time came an iconic video in figure skating meme lore, which is Kevin sort of stepping into maybe do an axel and then just steps through it and does not do it at nationals. So that is one of the things that he gives us.
These were hard skates to watch.
Oh, yeah.
They were very hard to watch.
I've seen that go viral on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. No,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, because it's become
great,
this meme for like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is.
Also, the podcast is alive and well at this point.
Yes.
Yes. In the lore of
the
figure skating, the
run-through
podcast is happening.
We are broadcasting out to the world.
Yes. So, and one of the reasons I wanted to say that this is happening with Kevin is as he is sort of struggling through this tough period personally, his domestic rival, and they're friends, but domestic rival in the results, Siao starts to rise through the ranks. He starts to gain headway. So we go into the fall of 2023. Ilya Malinin is picking up steam. Shoma is losing a little bit of steam. Both men lose a Grand Prix. Who do they lose to? They both lose to Siao.
Oh, that's right.
Adam becomes the first Frenchman to win a Grand Prix since Brian Joubert in 2009. He becomes there are only 8 men since the 2018 season when the new scoring, quote unquote, new scoring system was put into place that have been to the 100, 200, and 300 point marks. 100 for a short, 200 for a free skate, 300 total. Adam joins that club this fall.
Wow.
Yes. And they are like all big names in the sport who have done that. Nathan Chen, Yuzuru Hanyu, Shoma, Ilya. So Yuma has done that. So let's talk about Adam a little bit. Adam wins 2 straight European titles in 2023 and 2024. In 2023, nothing really comes to fruition after that. Not that doesn't matter that he wins Europeans, but he goes to Worlds and he gets 14th. He's not very good. Then he really starts to find his way in this 2023 fall Grand Prix season. He makes the Grand Prix final. He wins another European title where he does an illegal backflip. Backflips were then illegal in his program. And he sort of develops this like reputation for being this kind of happy-go-lucky. He really seems to enjoy performing. The first time I saw Adam, he was at Nebelhorn in 2021 doing a Darth Vader Star Wars program.
Yep.
Do you guys remember that program?
Oh, yeah.
So this is how I remember him. He starts in like his starting position. The first thing you hear on the track is the Darth Vader breathing. No, the breathing in the suit.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the choreo, and then the step sequence has like the pew, 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 pew sounds. He's like having the time of his life. So Adam is this like very infectious, engaging performer. You know, Benoit Richaud at this point is a pretty prolific choreographer in the sport. He does not always have the most original material because he choreographs for a lot of people, but Adam seems to get his best stuff. Adam and Benoit's choreographic relationship is very fruitful and always has been. So he's had, he's goofy. He's very well liked amongst the skaters. And Adam, and he has this reputation from doing backflips that he's like daring and fun and all of that. So he makes the Grand Prix final for the first time. He gets fourth. We're going into a World Championships in Montreal that are the makeup World Championships for the canceled 2020 World Championships. And we're going in with Ilya Malinin won the Grand Prix final. Shoma Uno got second. And Yuma Kageyama got third at the Grand Prix final. And Adam is fourth. So those are kind of your men who are hanging around for the podium.
Mm-hmm.
Adam implodes in the short program at the World Championships. He places 19th. He skates right at the beginning of the free skate and does this unbelievable program. And he's thinking, well, it doesn't matter. So he does his backflip again and gets his deduction. And it is such a good program that he jumps from 19th to 3rd and wins a world medal.
I remember as the event was getting close to an end, I was like,
oh my God,
you shouldn't have done that backflip.
Idiot. This is going to keep you off the world podium.
Yes, it didn't. And he wouldn't have gotten second either. At these World Championships, this is Shoma's final competition. We don't know that at the time, but this is Shoma's final competition. He gives us a swan song of a short program. He wins the short program with this perfect, beautiful performance. He struggles in the free skate. Shoma ends up off the podium in 4th. He concludes his career having gone to the World Championships almost every year since 2016 and never getting lower than 7th place. And that was only in his debut season. So Shoma gave us a lot, and I miss him every day. But he retires. He gets 4th at Worlds. He retires 2 months later. Jason Brown gets 5th again.
Mr. Reliable.
Who are the top 2 at Worlds? The last 2 left are Yuma Kageyama and Ilya Malinin. Ilya has had a little bit ups and downs this season. He loses the free skate at Nationals and barely wins the title. Do you remember that? He loses the free skate to Andrew Torgashev.
Yes, I forgot.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
Yes, but he gets it together. Shoma and Yuma are both brilliant in the short program, so Ilya still not seen as being as artistic as those men. He gets 3rd in the short program, but he's got 6 quads to do in the free skate, and he does them all. This is the season, by the way, that he's skating to the Succession soundtrack. It seems like, I can't remember if he was quoted saying he had never watched it, but it seems like he's never watched that show. And he also debuts the Raspberry Twist. So this is very like Ilya doing X Games again, where he has this like funny little
doing
sideways
stunts and tricks
jump that he does. Yes, that he does as like a choreo move that he calls a Raspberry Twist because his last name in Russian roughly translates to raspberry.
That's what it came from. I was like, like blue raspberry flavor is so metal. I don't know. I had no idea.
No. And so he wins his first world title, and he wins it pretty easily because he just completely outdoes everybody in the number of quads that he has in his program. And he skates very well. And this is one of our most iconic moments we've ever seen of Ilya. He's super, super emotional. He falls on the ice in Montreal. He's like clearly feeling this like the great relief of like finally having achieved his potential. And then he gets on the podium and he doesn't know the words to the national anthem.
Yeah,
not one of them.
Not a highlight, not a single one. And not even an attempt to do like the orange and pineapple. Like
it's amazing.
Not even
he's
not
sort
a
of doing it, but not really.
No, he's singing it in a different language, like because the way that the mouth is moving is not in the direction of any of the words of the national anthem of the United States.
But you also have to give him credit for trying, because he could have just not sung a single word.
Which would have been acceptable. A lot of times people don't
Just stoically stand there.
Yes, but he gave it a go, which is why you have to go, yeah, that's our guy.
But also, have you ever been singing the anthem and you're like, oh shit, I am committed to this? Like you've started singing, so you can't stop singing.
Yes.
But then you're like, I gotta get every single mouthed word perfect.
Or you have to just act like, you know.
You're overcome with emotion.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we are in the season that we just finished, 2024-2025.
Wow. Okay.
And
happened?
unlike in the Beijing quad where the main characters mostly stayed the same and there weren't a lot of surprises, we do have a little surprise in this season, and his name is Mikhail Shidorov.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So Mikhail Shidorov, so Shoma Uno has retired, and Ilya Malinin is just like way ahead of everyone. Even though Yuma is widely considered the superior skater in terms of skating skills, in terms of performance and expression, he just can't keep up with Ilya technically. And he gets a little more inconsistent trying to keep up. So Yuma is sort of clearly the second best for most of this season. And Ilya is very clearly better than everyone. He is getting more and more consistent as time goes on. He's getting better and better and better. And he's developing more into his artistry as well. So Ilya is essentially unbeatable in the 24-25 season. And Yuma is hanging right around him in second place. But Mikhail Shidorov shoots out of a cannon. Sort of like Gubanova shoots out of a rocket ship in her
Free
programs
skate
sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He had a little bit of success in 2023-24, but he never really broke through. He had a bad World Championships. Not the case this past season. At Grand Prix France, he does a triple axel quad toe combination and becomes the first to ever compete that combination. He gets fifth at the Grand Prix final. Then he wins Four Continents, and then he gets second at the World Championships in Boston. He's 20 years old. He'll be 21 in Milan. He's coached by the 1994 Olympic champion Alexei Urmanov. Go back to part 1 of the lore if you want to hear more about him. Adam told us a lot about him. But Shidorov is starting to look like one of the only ones who could be a challenger to Ilya Malinin next season in the Olympics, especially if Ilya is not clean.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Siao Himfa gets hurt in the fall of 2024. He ditches the backflip, which has now been made legal in competitions, much to my chagrin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's all. So Adam gets hurt in the fall. Adam gets 4th at the World Championships. Kevin Aymoz is back to get 5th at the World Championships. And that is sort of the picture with which we enter Olympic season in Milan, is that Ilya Malinin of the U.S. is the favorite to win the Olympics. Mikhail Shidorov and Yuma Kageyama seem like favorites for the podium right behind him, as does Adam Siao Himfa. I would put Kevin Aymoz probably a little lower than that. Shun Sato from Japan, who I think I mentioned in Yuma Kageyama's come up, was sort of his rival in the junior days, has started having success as a senior. He was 6th at Worlds last year. And Jun-Hwan is 7th at Worlds. And Jason Brown is 8th. Still around, still saving the U.S.'s ass, getting them 3 Olympic spots.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are in the lore.
Wow.
As we enter Olympic season.
What an excellent refresher, Sarah.
Thank you.
I am so curious about how everything is going to shake out in this next season, because I feel like obviously Ilya is set up to, I mean, potentially take away this Olympic title. But I mean, there's a bunch of players in the mix who maybe aren't going to challenge him directly, but for a podium finish, I don't feel like it's super clear what the podium's going to look like.
I completely agree. I think it's very, very up in the air. And did I say that Mikhail Shaidarov skates for Kazakhstan? I don't know if I did, but he skates for Kazakhstan. So he carries the Dennis 10 legacy with him.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so how about this? What are our predictions? Do we have an Olympic podium prediction? Are we willing to give that out?
I would. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're willing. Okay. I'll go
ahead.
first.
Okay.
I think my Olympic podium prediction right now, is Ilya, the gold medalist, Shaidarov, the silver medalist, Adam Siao, the bronze medalist.
That's my podium too. That's
my prediction right now in the off season.
I feel like 1 and 2 are the most obvious, and I feel like it's third.
Okay.
Oh my God, could you imagine if it was Kevin? The tears. They would fill up the arena. It'd become a pool. Sarah?
I'm going to go
What do you
Ilya
think?
1, Adam 2,
Whoa.
Yuma 3.
Okay.
I am just wary of the young person going to their first Olympics who's a little less developed on the artistic side. And
Yes.
I feel
Fair.
like Yuma and Adam can have their shit together
Can I say my wild
for this
prediction?
one competition.
My
Give us your
wild
chaotic
where it's
prediction.
okay, my chaotic one is Shaidarov gold,
Okay.
Adam Siao fourth. He does another. I see. I was I'm tricking you there. Yuma is second and Ilya is third.
And Ilya is third because he has
He's popped 2
disaster
jumps.
short.
Well, so
Exactly.
this is why what I'm saying is insane, and I don't think that I believe that my first prediction is the
original.
prediction. But even in this season where Ilya has been undefeated, he's lost the free skate to Yuma Kageyama because he was trying so many quads and would get hit with like under rotations. And so it'll be interesting if he goes the route of like, I need to try all of this stuff. If he does get hit with any of that stuff and Shaidarov is on this upward trajectory, he's doing clean things that could in fact maybe like be the edge. But that's why I'm like, oh, this is my like crazy podium. But I do think that my first podium is I think that's my best guess.
It's tough. I mean, Ilya hasn't been to an Olympics either. It's
Right.
really hard to know what is going to happen, mentally when you get to the Olympics and the rings are on the ice. I think that is.
It changes.
And I
a
have
lot
to
of
say,
things.
we are so grateful and so lucky that this is the first real Olympic Games that we get to watch since 2018. 2022 was it was tough. No family. There was like that excitement in the arena was so different. And I think like it was so fun to watch Paris this
with fans.
past year with
and get
fans.
that energy
Yes.
back in the games.
That I think that I hope that we get a lot of people really like into skating again. I think
And
it's going to be a great game.
That's one of the reasons even though I did just say what I said about Ilya, I think that he will be fine. Ilya is I feel like he feeds so much off of crowd energy.
100%.
And so I feel like in the moment when he can feel that, he will skate well.
Yeah.
It will feel right for him.
Yeah.
I feel like the only time that Ilya doesn't really skate well is at nationals where there's not enough pressure for him to lose anything. At the World Championships, he's pretty consistently delivered under pressure. So I feel like he's going to this is his element. This is the kind of pressure that just pushes him to skate better.
Mhm.
We'll see though.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's just like, even at the World Championships this year, like he was not perfect in his free skate. I think he did pop one and was like got a couple of rotation calls. So it's a matter, I think, of I don't know that anyone can really challenge him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More than it is about him being perfect.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Yes,
It's
it is.
a lot of pressure, which makes it really exciting for us.
And with that, that's our men's lore. You did a great job, Sarah.
Yeah, you killed it.
Thank you.
I can't believe we've gone through 30 years, 40 years
40
of men's
years.
figure skating. Up next,
Ice dance.
we're thinking dance, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dance.
Get
Up next is the
buckle
dance
up for the
floor.
dance. Because, listen, the men's is, like, interesting. There's a lot of characters. And there's still so much that we haven't even, like, touched on. This is just to, like,
Yeah.
if you're just starting to get into it, or if you just want something fun to listen to in the off season, like,
Right.
this is...
Here's a nice light 8 hours of content. to just
exactly.
get into
exactly.
it.
No, the dance is we've already started recording the dance lore, and my jaw was unhinged from my mouth when we were recording.
Apparently, so I was not on the original episode, and both Sarah and Adam have been like, you need to go listen to the dance floor right now. It's so insane.
It's crazy.
And
It's
I
crazy.
can't wait to hear it.
It's crazy. So you guys are going to love the ice dance lore as much, if not more, than the men's lore.
Yeah,
But we
it'll
love
be great.
all our children equally. We love all our
Yes.
disciplines equally.
And thank you to
Yeah,
all the
sure.
men who we mentioned and
Who mend.
and who mend and who we didn't mention. What incredible stories. And Sarah, what incredible storyteller you are.
This is
and
hard.
Adam, what an incredible man you are.
Thank you.
Man of the
I've
pod.
liked
Yes,
to
man of
men
the pod,
as
man
well.
of the lore,
Yes. Lord of the dance.
lord of the lore.
Jason Brown, ponytail power.
Mhm. All right,
Well-
everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the men's lore, our first part of the Lores series. The Lores series. The Lords series.
Hope traffic's not bad. Hope your train's on time. Hope you got to your destination safely. It's time to get out of your car.
And we'll see you in the dance floor. Bye, everybody.
Bye.